The Middle East never sleeps, and these 24 hours have been absolutely insane. Finally, we got new footage showcasing the attacks in Iran. Let's take a closer look. Operation named Roaring Lion, our aerial of defense system was struck by the IDF. So, first of all, we see the Iran map and all the targets that the IDF has struck. Then, we zoom in, and this is the aerial defense system at this field. Now, after further zooming in the building, we can see the equipment inside. This was posted by the IDF. The Israeli army. In this third video, we'll see how the IDF struck terror targets in western Iran. So first, we have a strike on a missile launcher in western Iran. Then it is showcased how it got struck. After that, we see additional missile launchers in western Iran. All of these got struck. While Israel continues to strike Iran hard, we got an official statement from the IDF, so from the Army of Israel.
An operation against the Iranian terrorist regime in full cooperation with the U.S. Armed Force. This is an operation against the world's largest sponsor of terror, a regime that for years has called death to Israel, death to America, death to the West. We listened to their words carefully. We watched their actions, and today we acted. We acted because we had to. We launched this operation by seizing an operational opportunity, conducting coordinated strikes against high-level gatherings of senior figures within Iran's military and security leadership. We can now confirm that these senior Iranian regime officials were eliminated by the IDF. Ali Shamkhani, advisor to Khamenei on issues of defense and secretary of the Defense Council. Muhammad Pakpour, commander of the IRGC. Muhammad Shirazi, head of the military bureau of the Iranian supreme leader for almost 40 years. Salah Assadi, the senior intelligence officer of the Supreme Command. Aziz Nasirzadeh, the Iranian defense minister, and others. These and other senior figures will no longer be able to advance their plan, the destruction of Israel. These are terrorists who have blood on their hands, who are directly responsible for the death of thousands by terror. The launch of Operation Roaring Lion comes after months of close and joint planning with the U.S. Armed Forces. A historic, unprecedented level of cooperation between two nations fighting side by side against terror. Our mission could not be more clear. The IDF will continue to act to remove emerging threats against Israel because the price of inaction is too high.
Next up, we'll listen to the speech of Mike Wallace, a U.S. ambassador to the United Nations.
This is a moment in history that requires moral clarity, and President Trump has met the moment. The most fundamental duty of any sovereign government is the protection of its people. Operation Epic Fury is directed towards specific and strategic objectives: to dismantle missile capabilities that threaten allies, to degrade naval assets used to destabilize international waters, and to disrupt the machinery that arms proxy militias, and to ensure the Iranian regime never, ever can threaten the world with a nuclear weapon. American diplomacy was attempted repeatedly and in good faith. President Trump, Secretary Rubio, our special envoys, Witkoff and Kushner, were relentlessly dedicated to diplomacy. But diplomacy cannot succeed where there is no genuine willingness to cease aggression, where there is no genuine partner for peace. The sad irony is that this same regime will attempt to lecture us today about human rights and the rule of law. Its presence here in this council makes a mockery of this body. But where the UN lacks moral clarity, the United States of America will maintain it. Colleagues, peace is not preserved by appeasing those who threaten it. Peace is preserved through strength in the face of terror.
Now, let's listen to the response of the UN Chief Secretary General António Guterres.
About 20 cities across Iran, including Tehran, Isfahan, Qom, Shahryar, and Tabriz, have reportedly been attacked. In Tehran, large explosions were reported in the district that includes the presidential palace and the compound of the supreme leader. Several high-ranking officials have reportedly been killed, including, according to Israeli sources, Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei, that I'm not in a position to confirm. Iran's airspace has been closed and the country is under a near-total internet blackout. The attacks have reportedly caused significant civilian casualties. According to Iranian media, an airstrike killed at least 85 people and injured many more at a girls' school in Minab, Hormozgan province, and the school in Tehran was also reportedly an airstrike killed at least 85 people and injured many more at a girls' school in Minab, Hormozgan province, and the school in Tehran was also reportedly hit, causing 2 deaths.
Next up, we have the speech of Danny Danon, our permanent representative of Israel to the United Nations.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Israel's ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, will deliver a statement on the latest in Israel's Operation Rising Lion, and he will also preview this morning's Emergency Security Council session called on by the Islamic Republic. As always, if you're called for a question, please be sure to state your name and news outlet. Thank you.
Good morning. The Security Council will soon convene once again to discuss the situation with Iran at the request of the Iranian regime. That itself is a spectacular absurdity. The same regime whose supreme leader calls for the extermination of Israel and the United States, whose operatives have plotted assassinations of elected leaders, now send its ambassador to cry victim before the Security Council. This week alone, the ambassador of Iran submitted 5 letters. Within a week, 5 letters, not to condemn terrorism, not to announce it is dismantling its nuclear program, but to seek sympathy for a regime that funds, arms, and orchestrates terror across the globe. Iran is not under attack. Iran is being stopped. On Wednesday evening, it launched a ballistic missile directly at Soroka Hospital in Beersheba, in the southern part of Israel. This is the largest hospital in the region. Soroka Hospital serves more than 1 million civilians of all backgrounds. This was a war crime, deliberate, indiscriminate, and barbaric. Israel's actions have been precise and compliant with international law. Our targets are military. Our objective is clear: to dismantle the Iranian regime's genocidal capabilities before it is too late. Let there be no misunderstanding. That is not just Israel's fight. This fight is for everyone across the world. Iranian missiles can already reach parts of Europe, and soon they could reach the eastern shores of the US. Iran's terror network extends to every continent, from criminal networks in South America to undercover agents in many European capitals to extremists in the Middle East and Africa. Today, when I walk into the Security Council, I don't expect gratitude from the Security Council, but I will not apologize for protecting our people and for confronting evil when others will not. Thank you.
Ambassador, student with China Central Television. We know that there are diplomatic efforts ongoing in Geneva. What is Israel's position on these diplomatic talks that might get fruits, maybe reach a deal on Iranian nuclear issue?
Well, we have seen diplomatic talks for the last few decades, and look at the results. So, if there will be a genuine effort to dismantle the capabilities of Iran, then that's something we can consider. But it is going to be like another session and debates. That's not going to work.
For the last few decades, the Prime Minister Netanyahu always said there will be only months, weeks, days away from Iranian getting nuclear weapons, which is not true.
No, so I beg to differ with you. You're going to listen to the IEA later on today. Once we found out about their intentions and that they are building the capabilities, we decided to act. We decided not to wait for them to be the first one to launch atomic bomb into Israel. Please.
Mr. Ambassador, Mariam Ramadi with Iran International. The IAEA and especially Mr. Grossi before said they don't have any evidence that the Islamic Republic of Iran is acquiring a nuclear weapon. What kind of evidence does Israel have that Iran is going after a nuclear weapon or nuclear bomb? And did you share those evidence with the IAEA? And also, my second question, in Iran, people don't have access to internet, complete blackout. They don't get Israeli evacuation notice. And before you gave, the Israeli government and the army gave notice to the people of Iran, but there wasn't enough time for people to evacuate. How do you make sure that people are not in the places that Israel is targeting so you can make sure that civilians don't get killed?
So first, regarding your first question, the IEA itself said that Iran enriched uranium to a level that they can produce multiple bombs, not one bomb. And it's not for civilian usage, it's for the military program. We know about the ballistic missiles, we see their capabilities, they are launching them every night into Israel. And we also found out about the triggering mechanism and about the intention to put everything together. So when you take the enriched uranium, the ballistic missiles, the triggering mechanism, and you understand that now they are at a point that they wanted to put everything together, that was the point we decided not to wait anymore. Regarding your second question, we pray for the people of Iran. We care about them. That's why we send those notifications, and we will do our best to minimize civilian casualties. And if they don't have access to our warnings, I would advise them not to stay near military facilities. They know exactly where the IRGC compounds are. They know exactly where the nuclear reactors are. So my advice to them, and we do care for them, is to not to be next to those facilities.
Ambassador,
Yes, sir.
Chris Reyes with the Canadian Broadcasting. Are you in support of the United States negotiating with Iran? If not, what is your message to the U.S.? And if you are in support of those negotiations, what would you like to see come out of that deal?
So as I said earlier, we look at results. And if there will be results that will bring us the security that we need, which means they don't have the capabilities. And the Iranians are the masters of deceptions. They lied for so many years, so we cannot just play the game with them anymore. If it will be like, what happened in Libya, when you had real inspectors who came into Libya, took out everything out, that's a mechanism that can be discussed. But it is going to be just another round of talks. That's something which we cannot accept.
Ambassador, can I follow up?
Well, last question, please. Yeah.
You mentioned, but the director last night said the following: we do not have any indication that there is a systematic program in Iran to produce a nuclear weapon. We know the U.S. estimate back in March saying there is no such thing, stopped in 2003. I just want to emphasize, are you going to share this information that you have, that they were about to dash to a bomb, with the U.S., with the public?
So the Director General of the IEA will speak in a minute in the Security Council. I would advise you to ask him that the amount of uranium that was enriched already in Iran, if it serves civilian usage or a military program. Let him answer that question. We have the information, we have the intelligence that Iran built a military program, not a civilian one, which was not supervised by the IEA. Thank you very much. Thank you.